What's up, guys? So today, the phone's being gracious for 30 minutes. So, hell yeah! Here, let me. Okay. Alright, are y'all ready to experience this beautiful theme? This is badass. Alright, watch this. It was only $1.99. Like, this shit's badass. And the music soundtrack that goes with it, Lord Jesus. God, that's awesome. Page 183, chapter 5. You've gotten very good at burying your sadness and pain, but you don't have to take this crooked world by yourself. Jesus Christ did not come down, become flesh of man to save the popular, the well-liked, the rich and the famous, the priest and the righteous. He came to save the tax collectors, the murderers, the robbers, the thieves, the lawyers, the swindlers, the lame, the blind, the unrighteous, and the just. Everyone. You and every human being on this planet could get a second chance at a relationship with the Heavenly Father, your Creator. So come on. I'll help you bring down the Black Dragon, if it will bring you peace. But then you have to promise me you'll at least try to accept Jesus and try faith on for size. And in return, I will slowly help repair you from the inside out. We can do this, bud. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be hard. But if you keep your spirit up and your head high, we'll get out of this minefield of your life you're in right now. Beaten up and bruised, a bit like any war, but in one piece. I promise you accept his offer of his friendship, and you really work on making it work, you'll be stronger than when you entered the minefield. The man you seek in this building is nicknamed Mr. K. Katuska Van Dam, Black Dragon smuggler, pharmacist, saboteur, and spy. He works in a department here that doesn't exist. A scar above his right eye. But be careful, lad. The answers you seek will be sad and will bring you great stress and be greatly depressing news. Remember, you're not alone in this. Pray to me if you need any heavy lifting. I gotta go. He bent down and picked up the cup, knocked it back, and smacked his lips at the water. He tilted the cup in a toasting ceremonial way. There's a hero inside you, but the question is, will you allow your inner problems to smother it, or will you allow it to strengthen you in surface? I can only help you so much. Even though I'm an angel of God, you have to figure out what you fight for. Meaningless violence is not good enough. If pulling the hero out or drowning him in the pain is the best option, I can't decide that for you. I wish I could, but that's something you have to choose and decide on your own. Probably before you take on the Black Dragon leader. Until next time, friend. Look. Goodbye and good luck. He smiled a warm smile, then suddenly disappeared. Kanbe Hellamockery sat there in the office thinking, shell-shocked, of the event that just happened. Had that really happened? Did it really just happen? Did an actual angel visit him? Well, to be sure, let's see. He reached over and pinched his hand super hard. A surge of pain went up his arm. Yeah, that's real. He leaned over to the telephone and looked at the extension list. Found the reception desk extension for the 3rd floor and dialed it. He picked up the receiver and it began to ring. Hello? Hey, Brittany, what time is it? About 5 o'clock p.m.? Well, 5:27 p.m. to be exact. Okay, thank you. No problem. You okay? Yeah, I think I'm good. Okay, Mr. Rivers. He placed the phone back gently on his holster. Yeah, this is definitely not a dream. The feather gently brushed against his forearm. Yeah, then there's that. Okay, Gabriel, if you will get me what I want, I will try and do the whole faith game. He took a few moments and composed himself. Kanbe Hellamockery breathed in. He held and then closed his eyes and slowly exhaled. Okay, let's get these jobs knocked out. Just as he went to get up, suddenly there was a knock at his office door. Come in! The door opened and Dr. M appeared. Hey guy, do you like the setup? May I come in? Sure, Mr. Gary, come on in. He walked in and shut the door. Gary walked over to a chair. Thank you for the office and the nice letter. Oh, you found the letter? Did it help clear up any questions? Yes, thank you. And yes, it is a very nice setup. You are quite a scholar. Well, I mean, I don't know about all that, Mr. Rivers, but I help where I can. Better to create smiles than frowns, I say. You're doing a hell of a job on that, is all I'm saying. Gary smiled gently. Well, thank you kindly. Page 185. Wait, I thought you'd be in surgery still. I was just getting ready to head out to do those jobs. I mean, yeah, the triple bypass was supposed to be longer, but it went smoother than I expected. No complications, so I was in and out about 3.5 hours. His eyes lit up. Oh, before I forget, again, um, I needed I need a voided check from you to start your direct deposit. Dr. Miracle raised up a bit off the chair and pulled a small packet out of his back pocket. I need you to fill this out and return it to me with a voided check tomorrow. Alright. Also, if I forget to mention, your hours will be Monday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Tuesday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. You'll have off Saturday and Sunday and all major holidays. Your pay quote has come back from HR, and I can pay you $18 an hour. All that is written in the pamphlet I just gave you. He stared at Kanbe for a second. One more thing I can add to the letter I wrote. One of the main things I learned about God from my personal relationship is He is extremely patient. He'll wait till the time is right to show Himself for you to hear His voice. Or for you to hear His voice. Each time is unique to each individual. In this time you may feel like He left you, like He doesn't care, like He's some ant bully. But in reality, even if He appeared before you, if you're not in the right mindset, His words wouldn't have the weight to give you the change your soul desires. The change your soul desires. Can't He just snap His fingers and force us to love Him? I mean, He can, but He won't because of His invention of free will. You see, He gave us that gift to choose. It's not a fatherly love or a love at all if it's forced or demanded. That's borderline slavery. There's something in conviction and genuineness when one comes to Him broken and distrustful, and He hugs you and says, "My child, why do you weep? I am here." But He can't father you and rebuild you if you don't let Him in. Suddenly, Gary stood up. Or he sat up, Gary sat up, and his eyes flickered blue as if his eyes suddenly became balls of lightning. He smiled a warm smile. Kanbe sat upright, noticing the change in the atmosphere energy. "Mr. Gary, you alright?" "Try again." Shivers went down his spine. "God?" He smiled warmly and nodded. "I asked Gary if I could borrow him for a second so I could talk to you. I'm just speaking through him." He smiled and said, "My dear son, I can see that you still blame yourself for your parents' death. You did everything you could, my child. You acted swiftly. But, my child, it is time to bury them. My dear, beautiful boy, you are not some lab rat invented in some machine lab. I love you, and I made you with great care to detail. I am like a master clay sculptor, and I have pride in all of my masterpieces." "What do you mean, lab rat? I know I'm not." His lightning eyes softened. "You don't know. Oh, of course you don't know. I said that because when you were born, you were injected with a serum that was supposed to cure you of your autism and give you hyperintelligence. Emperor Raiden Lee was tired of war, and to hear him talk, he invented the greatest super weapon against the Black Dragons and feudal Japan war against Americans. Next time you meet him, listen to his words. They are weightless. He may be your sensei, but the way he looks at you is empty. I say this not to hurt you, but for you to realize he no longer is your ally. The ancient evil I locked away long ago, he is trying to set free, and it corrupted him. Anyway, the serum instead cured your autism and gave you super speed. If you pay attention to the way he talks about you, he thinks he owns you. I came to you to let you know when your world comes crashing down, I will be there when you need me the most. Now, come here so I can give you that dad hug. Kanbe blankly got up silently, slowly walked around the desk. My world is already crashing down. If everything you told me is true, I never knew. Man, you think you know a guy. Kanbe thought, lost in deep thinking. Deep thinking. God got up and pulled Kanbe Hellamockery towards him. He wrapped his arms around Kanbe Hellamockery's body and gave him a strong but gentle bear hug. He moved his head to Kanbe's ear, and God whispered, "You haven't hit rock bottom yet, but if or when you do, I'll be there with my hand stretched out, waiting to bring you up out of the waters. You just have to trust me fully and take my hand." Suddenly, a cold chill went down Kanbe's spine. His body shuddered. Before you give up on any situation, look up and remember the entire nation of heaven, Jesus, my son, and myself will help you. You just gotta ask. You're stronger than you give yourself credit for. Until next time, my son, I love you. He let go, and Gary was Gary again. Wow. I think I'm shell-shocked, Dr. M said, slightly shaking. I've been a strong Christian since I was a teen, but never once have heard his voice, felt his presence. I think I need to sit down. Page 187. You should sit down too, Mr. Rivers. You look more paler than me. He just stood there. So Gary said louder and firmer, "Mr. Rivers, sit down before you fall down." Huh? Oh, yeah. Okay. Kage sat down on the floor. They both sat there silently for an hour, pondering the events that just unfolded. By this time, they both have composed themselves, and suddenly, Gary's eyes flashed over to the man on the floor. He lowered his voice to a whisper. "Wait, you're the great Kage, the vampire ninja?" Gary asked, staring at him. "What? How? Did someone tell you such nonsense?" Suddenly, Cody Rivers became defensive. "God told me. He said if you're going to work with me, you shouldn't hide behind a mask or a fake name. Excuse me. If you want my help to heal you," whatever that means, Cody sighed and looked up at the ceiling. Thanks a lot. Yes, I am him. And no, I don't think I could ever give it up. At this point, it's a part of me. Amazement filled Gary's eyes, like meeting a superhero in real life. Wow, I thought you were a campfire ghost story. Some Japanese child superhero made from his overactive imagination. Like Spawn. When you when your tail when your tail come when your tail came across to America, as soon as it hit my ears, I paid to make it into comic books. Kanbe scratched his head. Usually the ones that know my legend and meet me are contracted and usually end up dead. Didn't know I had a fan base. Thanks, I guess? Oh, anybody who knows of the Loch Ness Monster or Dracula or Chupacabra or any of the mythical creatures knows of your great tale. I don't know about the whole knight in shining armor thing, superhero thing. If anything, I'm an anti-hero. I'm not that great of a person. I kill people for money. It doesn't really sound like superhero material. Yeah, my dad gave me a cool nickname. He paused. Why was he telling Dr. Miracle about this? He didn't know this doctor from squat, but yet, at the same time, there was something about the hardworking doctor that made him feel welcome and the openness to speak freely. Page 188. I just can't believe you exist. Can you really do the whole whoosh 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 wash whoosh thing? Shino Kage's eyebrow raised. Super speed? Yes. He squealed like a little schoolgirl. Can we keep it down, please? Oh, no worries. This is a semi-soundproof room. As long as we keep our voices lower than or at a normal volume, not a peep leaves this room. I had it built for my mechanics so they can have some meditation and space away from the hustle and bustle of the hospital sounds. That's convenient. Can you show me? He sighed. Kanbe sighed. I guess. He raised his hand and began to vibrate it at the point of a blur. He passed the hand through the desk and grabbed a pen. He brought the pen out. His hand became still with a blank stare. He raised the pen. Anticlimactic. Click. Oh, that's so exciting! He chuckled to him. Kanbe chuckled to himself. The genuine joy in his eyes. Man, he's like a super fan. Can you, Shino Kage raised his hand to stop him. Mr. Gary, as much as I appreciate all this, you going super nerd on me over the legend and everything, but I'd like you to stop. This kind of attention is super awkward and uncomfortable for me. So if you don't mind, I'd like to be Cody Rivers and keep this job. It's the only normalcy I have in my life right now. With an understanding glance, Dr. M nodded his head. I understand, Cody. We will leave the other guy, and he winked, in the shadows and I won't speak another word of it. Cody Rivers bowed. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. The children! Crap! I totally forgot to dismiss the children. Knowing Mr. K, he'll work them to the bone. Children? Mr. K? Dr. Miracle swiftly got up and began walking to the door. Today is the school day for them. I figured, though they may have... I'm sorry, I'm babbling. Follow me. I want you to meet the gang and their instructor, Mr. K. I'm rehabilitating them in a special program. Page 189. I'm babbling again. Sorry, just stop. Follow me. He opened the office door, and Cody scratched his head. Okay, he said in a confused tone. They walked out of the office to a flight of steps and took the stairs 7 flights down to a small hallway. My goodness, that's a lot of steps, Kanbe said. Dr. M chuckled. Yeah, it'll keep your lungs pink and healthy if you use them every day, or use them often. It's always good to keep your cardio up. I 100% agree, Cody said with a smile. Dr. M laughed as he walked up to the door and keyed in the code. Prisoners? Oh my, no. So they don't hurt anybody if they lose control of their emotions. They are teens, after all. And away from unauthorized personnel, my students complain about them every day, the normal hospital staff. They walked through a small entrance. It had a second door. The small room was big enough for one foldable table, and the table had neatly stacked papers in 6 piles. 6. That number has been popping out at me all day. What does that mean? I need you to fill this out, Mr. Rivers. It's a document of confidentiality. You're right, I won't say anything I see or hear. You have my word. The doctor looked at him flabbergasted. Yeah. Wait, you read all 3 pages of that legal crap and understood it? Yes, I did. Here you go. And he handed a filled out copy of the form to him. He looked at his hand. When did you... Ah. He smiled and shook his finger at Cody Rivers. You're good. I'm gonna keep my eye on you, Mr. Rivers. Kanbe Hellamockery smiled once more. No, sorry. Dr. Miracle. Dr. Miracle smiled once more and pointed 2 fingers at his eyes, and then drew an invisible line to Cody's personal space. Cody smiled. More than welcome to try. I might have a little bit of fun with you, Doctor. You being my fan and all. Dr. M snorted a snort of sarcasm as he took the paper. Oh, it's like that, is it? Okay. He stared. He started to open the door. I gotta file this real quick. I gotta file this real quick. Cody entered the room. The room was gigantinormous. A small town could fit in this room. Cody whistled. How much overtime you saved for this project? A bit, Dr. Miracle said proudly. Page 190. Well, that's modest. That agreement you signed. Outside those double doors, this place doesn't exist. The hospital board would shut it down if they found out. Alright, guys. Page 190.